Hi, so our poster is about granular depletion in the state of Gujarat in India. So we're working on granular depletion all over the country, but Gujarat really provides a really extreme example of the crisis. Because if you look at some data on water tables, you see that they have fallen by about 3 meters per year consistently over the last 3 decades. So something like 100 meters over the last 3 decades since the groundwater irrigation boom started. And one of the consequences of that is that in terms of the mean level of the water table, whereas it used to be mostly above sea level 20 years ago, now a lot of it in the study area we're working in is actually below mean sea level. And that means that there is a real danger of intrusion of more saline water into the aquifer, which could irreversibly and disastrously affect agriculture and the availability of drinking water, etc. So now, some people argue that recent stabilization of the water table we see in recent years is a result of maybe a reform in the energy sector and reduction of energy for pumping, but we feel that it could very well be related to recent abundant monsoons, so high recharge from rainfall, or reduced pumping during the rainy season because of availability of rain. And we did some preliminary statistical analysis to show that. If that's the case, it's no reason to reduce public alarm over this issue because it's just a transient effect as a result of a multi-decadal signal in climate and precipitation. On the economic side, another manifestation of how extreme the situation is that the energy that is used to pump all the water up, as in much of India, most of the cost is provided by the government. So it's very highly subsidized energy for pumping. And it has reached such an extent that the government is now spending about 30,000 rupees, which is something like $700 per hectare of irrigated land, on pumping the energy up. And the ironic thing is farmers using that energy, their net income is probably about 2/3 of that, with a generous estimate. So more money is going into pumping the water up than the money that is generated, the income generated with that energy, with that water. So that's an extreme example of the effects of the energy subsidy, which again is all over India, but it has this really extreme manifestation here in Gujarat. And that in some way makes Gujarat a very favorable and natural place to test some of our policy ideas. Specifically, we are now working with the government of Gujarat to test this pilot kind of reform of the way the energy subsidy is delivered to farmers. Right now, if farmers reduce their energy usage, there's nothing in it for them because they're not paying a volumetric fee for every unit of electricity they use. They're paying a flat rate once per year. And that is the only, by the way, energy pricing is the only way to price water indirectly, because water is actually not really controlled legally or is not priced in India. So the point is that we're suggesting a very simple mechanism: allow farmers to have an entitlement, own the energy they're using right now, and especially give them the option to reduce the energy they use and then receive monetary compensation reflecting the expenses saved through that. So basically we're saying, if you're a farmer, you can use as much energy as you use right now, but if you choose to reduce your use, you actually will be getting monetary compensation. So that effectively puts like a price signal on water through a price signal on energy without burdening the farmers with the tax. And we're hoping that this will actually induce farmers to adopt more water efficient crops, more water efficient irrigation methods like drip irrigation, etc. So ideally, that would these technologies are available, but they're not really uptaken by farmers right now. And ideally, this kind of incentive structure would incentivize them to do it, improve their incomes, and reduce the fiscal burden of the government, which is right now spending about 40% of energy consumption in the state is going into pumping this water. So it's a big burden on the state's budgets, as in many other parts of India. But this is probably a very favorable place to test this scheme, and we're working closely with the government now on implementing it. So.